5th grade Girl Scout Troop 4091 wanted to give back to their school. They chose to paint a large map in the playground area. Choosing a smooth surface that's 35 by 36 feet, we cleaned it up using a broom and a blower. Then we began putting down the stencil. The stencil is comprised of 8 long strips. The top strip includes the tip of Maine and should be placed where you want the top of the continental United States to be. We carefully lined up each strip, working as a team to tape down the stencil as we worked along. We used about 3 large rolls of duct tape for this part of the job. The stencil could rip easily, and it was windy, so we were careful to hold it down while we taped. Halfway done now, 4 more strips to place. You can see the holes in the stencil are starting to make the shape of the United States. We were careful not to cover up any holes with duct tape. And if we had duct tape underneath a hole, we went back through and used a knife to cut that area out so we would be sure to paint it for the stencil. Now to paint all the dots. We used white for this job, but any bright color will do. The stencil allowed us to choose between 2 different versions of Alaska. One Alaska was to scale and was shockingly large. The other Alaska was a scaled down version. The Girl Scouts chose to paint this smaller version, so we covered up the dots to the larger version as to not paint something we weren't intending to. At this point, we had put about 3 hours of work in and needed to let the dots dry. When we returned from lunch, we pulled up the stencil. Did I mention it was a windy day? And voila, a stencil of the United States of America. Time to connect the dots. We were careful to reference a map of the United States to ensure we were creating the correct borders. The Northeast was definitely the most tricky portion. Now it's time to paint the states. We used 5 different colors as well as blue for the Great Lakes. The pavement soaks up a lot of paint, so you really need a full gallon of each color. Once the bright colors were dry, we went back through and outlined each state once more, creating a nice, crisp white line. All that's left now is to let it dry and cover it with a protective clear coat. The clear coat really made the colors pop. When it was all said and done, the project took us about 8 hours. We hope the school enjoys its new learning resource. Girl Scout Troop 4091 definitely enjoyed creating it.